international audience as well. And thank you for taking the time to view. So, um, let's go into it. So, in terms of the features of your venue, um, can you tell us a little bit more about that, as well as if there are any specific unique features that sets you apart? And I'm not going to pick on anybody just randomly. I'm just going to go in order of how we're laid out here. So, Marlon, tag
Sure.
your.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Melissa and MusicTT. Welcome to all the persons who are participating, and especially our friends from abroad. So Naparima Bowl, we're located in San Fernando, where we consider ourselves the cultural soul of the South. One of the main features of the Naparima Bowl is that we have an amphitheater. It's not unique to the bowl, but what is unique about Naparima Bowl's amphitheater is that our stage opens out both to the auditorium as well as the amphitheater. So our facility is built almost like a Greek theater, but let's consider the stage in the middle, and there's an open amphitheater on one side, and then there's a covered auditorium on the other side. So you could actually do a production that is for a covered indoor audience, and then you could do a production for an amphitheater outdoor audience. But you can also, which is a unique feature, do a production that features both audiences in what you might call a traverse sort of setting. And that is unique for productions that are more concert-like, party-like, and we're looking forward to see things like theater happen in a space like the Naparima Bowl where you perform for both audiences. So we consider that one of the main attractions of Naparima Bowl in San Fernando.
Okay, thank you, Marlon. And let's go over to Paige.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for taking the time to have a look in on the theatre spaces that Trinidad and Tobago offers. So, in terms of special features, the National Academy for the Performing Arts' auditorium is the largest indoor auditorium in Trinidad. I suspect that perhaps Tobago will beat us in terms of the number of seats, but I wait to hear from my colleague there to let us know for sure. But we have 1,118 seats inside of our classic proscenium theatre. We have a moving stage that allows us to set up multiple acts and move them in and out of the stage area. We also have significant amounts of space outside of our theatre that allows us to monetize the space in the context of events and various markets and shops and things like that that can use our foyer. So that's a part of our monetization strategy. I think that the probably the best thing about Napa is its location. We are located right in the middle of Port of Spain. We have a spectacular view of the Northern Range Hills, the Lady Chancellor Hill, as well as Cascade. And the building has become an iconic feature in the landscape of Port of Spain, Trinidad. And so we're very proud of just the way that it looks and what it signals about Trinidad and Tobago's commitment to the performing arts and to its culture. And I think that for the purposes of everyone here, what we need you to know is that we are open for business. We are ready to welcome you and to receive you. We have some of the top shelf technology that all of you will come to expect from a globally competitive theatre around the world. And we look forward to hearing from you all as we move forward and share our fruits with the rest of the world and let you know that Trinidad and Tobago is a place for you to come. Have your shows, have your events, we are ready.
And over to you, Karen.
All right. Greetings, everyone. It's really a pleasure to greet you here all the way from beautiful Isle of Tobago. And wherever you are, welcome, welcome, and welcome to our session as we go into what we as colleagues here across Trinidad and Tobago have to offer. The Shore Park complex in itself is uniquely placed, firstly, on the Isle of Tobago and giving you a real sense of a tourism and environment The Tobago space in itself offers just that. We call it the conference room by the sea, the theater by the sea. You know, you have that unique flavor to enjoy the island and enjoy the facility as well. The facility is one of a kind in the Caribbean space. It has in itself 3,700 seats and has the maximum capacity of 5,000. What is really unique about this space is that it's modular. We can be a seated environment where we can have productions, and we can be an expo, we can be a party environment, all under one roof. And that gives us real flexibility on the type of events that we can really host. Added to that, we have multiple breakout spaces, multiple conference rooms, and these all can be integrated into a unique space that you can either use all of it, some of it, part of it, where we can even have multiple events running simultaneously. We have parking for more than 700 cars. So we do have a wide expanse of functionality to this space, and really gives you that unique ability to really think outside of the box. Hence, our theme is the possibilities are endless. So there are really limitless options, and we try to strive on creativity and really push the bounds as to what we can really offer, do, and really kind of manipulate the spaces to do. You know, so we really want to be able to offer to all our clients, local, international, the ability to really be flexible in the space and to fill it with your thoughts and ambitions. Thank you.
And over to you, Colleen.
Mute. Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to Queen's Hall, as we like to say. Thank you so much for inviting us to be here. So Queen's Hall is unique in the sense that we are actually the first theatre that was opened in Trinidad and Tobago in June 1959. So we are actually referred to as the Grand Dam of the performing arts, right? So we are definitely one of the first theatres. One of our many unique features is that we are really ideally located as well, close to at least 4 or 5 major hotels. And also, if you know the Port of Spain area, of course, we are just around the bend of the Savannah and close to Lady Young Road. So easy exit and entrance into Queen's Hall is definitely one of our most attractive features. And our seating is capacity in the auditorium is just about 700, which makes us not small, but also not too large as well. So that producers tend to like our sort of intimate facilities that we provide here. One of the features as well is that, what I should say is that in terms of the way Queen's Hall is structured, is that being a statutory body, it does give us a little more flexibility. And this is why we are able to generate revenue and enter into what I may call collaborations and partnerships with organizations, you know, so that we have mutually, we are all on the same page in terms of if it is that there is a project that an international body wants to approach us with, we do have some bit of flexibility, although we are under the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts. And as I said, because we started in 1959, we have went through a series of refurbishments over different periods, and we are always striving to keep up with international standards. So definitely, those are some of the unique features of Queen's Hall, which was started in June 1959, making us 65 years of age this year.
Congratulations, you're ready for pension. Thank you so much, Colleen. And lastly, we have Sean McMillan.
Thanks, Melissa and MusicTT for giving us the opportunity to showcase what not only the Southern Academy has, but what the other theaters or performing arts centers are able to achieve. What are some of the unique features of the Southern Academy? We have not one, but 2 performing arts theaters, one that can host 730 guests, and the other, which we call Little Theater, 160 guests. We have several auxiliary spaces at the Performing Arts Center where we can have anywhere from cocktail receptions, to art exhibitions and to other exhibitions that individuals would come and benefit from. In addition to which, we have one of the largest dance studios in the Caribbean, where individuals can come and their ballet sessions, classical Indian dance, yoga, modern dance. And so persons in the community are able to come and benefit from the venue, benefit from the facility. So it's accessible to persons in the area. We also have several classrooms that persons can come and whether it be the classics, the arts, anything that relates or related to the performing arts, they can come and benefit from. And so those facilities or those classrooms are readily available, or multipurpose rooms. We have 5 of those multipurpose rooms where persons can come and benefit from. There are other VIP areas and a Medibay that persons can come when in the event that something does happen, there are those facilities there that they can benefit from as well. So those are some of the features that make us, and what we feel make us unique at the Southern Academy.
Thank you so much, folks, for answering that question and giving our viewers insights as to the amenities available at the different venues. So, as Murphy would have it, Murphy decided to play with us at the beginning of this webinar. And I understand that the audience viewing now did not see the video that was played, nor did they even hear the introduction. So for the audience that is here right now, first of all, thank you for coming. I am Melissa Jimenez, the General Manager of MusicTT, and we welcome you to the Trinidad and Tobago Premier Venues webinar hosted by MusicTT. Thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule and wherever you are in the world today to join us. So at this juncture, because of Murphy, we're just going to play the video for you and then we'll resume the panel session. Panelists, is that okay? Yes? All right, lovely. Lovely. And we are back. And diving right into our other question for these lovely esteemed panelists here. So, technology, the technology is all the craze. And you're hearing innovation, innovation, innovation is the conversation everywhere. So, tell us, I'm not going to pick on anybody this time to start first. So, tell us, how does your venue leverage technology and innovation to enhance the event experience?
Would you like me to go first?
Sure.
Okay. So we currently SAPA, the Southern Academy, is on path to replace all our conventional lighting with LED lighting and upgrading our audio equipment. So that is on path for this year. In the immediate future, we intend to introduce public Wi-Fi access, the creation of an audio-visual unit that will assist stakeholders with live streaming and on-demand services. So that is already on the cards. The use of a modern digital information display in the lobby. We have found many people coming to SAPA want to tour the facility, so we're going to be having an augmented virtual reality tour of the facility, so that is also on the cards. An online booking system that is complemented with a digital ticketing system and an interactive seat mapping system. So that is already on the table for us. And an enhanced social media integration where our events are fed into the theater's online platform, enables clients and their patrons to share their experiences, review their photos, while fostering a community engagement and a kind of word of mouth promotion. And finally, data analytics is also going to feature in what we do, and based on clients' actions, previous actions, and information that will help us, based on their booking history, how we interact with them going forward.
That sounds good. That is a long laundry list you have there. I'm looking forward to seeing it come to fruition. So whoever's next, just feel free, jump right in.
All right, so I guess I can go next. Good.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Feel
So
free.
at Queen's Hall, of course, technology is moving apace. We all know that, and we are trying to keep a pace as well with technological upgrades, and so we are not quite where we want to be as yet, which is why we recently conducted a strategic plan and feasibility study in which we had discussions with our patrons and producers to get an idea of what they need, because we may have an idea as to what they may need, what some of the upgrades that need to be done, and so we also want to get their feedback. So based on that, we will be moving ahead with certain technological upgrades, but in the meanwhile, we have been incrementally changing out new systems. We are on set. We are set to upgrade our audio system in the very near future. And in respect of one of the facilities I would not have mentioned previously would have been our garden theater, which was open in 2021, yes, to provide a more intimate production, to provide a more intimate space for smaller productions. And so we plan to refurbish that garden theater so that we can have things such as digital exhibitions. There'll be a green wall, silent parties. So while we will be continuing to upgrade the auditorium, we will also be refurbishing the facilities that we do have so that we are able to keep pace with technology. At present, we do have our website, which has e-commerce facilities. You'll be able to purchase merchandise, and so it's incremental. Because of course, by the time you purchase something today or acquire something today, it's already out of date. So it's a process. So and it's something that we intend to keep focus on in keeping with the needs of both our patrons and producers.
Yeah, that's a very important last point that you made there about technology, and you're always having to keep on top of it. I think that is the most tiring thing to me. And every time you think you figure something out,
Yes.
something changes again. So I don't envy you all right now in that position at all.
Yes.
But thank you, Colleen. Kun?
All right. So us at Shore Park, we decided to go deeper into the real depths of the facility and strengthen our backbone from the internet provider's point of view. So we have upgraded our entire backbone to fiber. So we have dedicated fiber up to 1 gig of bandwidth, allowing us to do multiple streaming, Zoom meetings, several different interactions um, from our conferencing system. So while I'm there, our conferencing system is one of our main attractions at this time from a IT point of view, where we just installed our 86-inch Idea Hub, which is a touchscreen interactive screen that allows for clients to do webinars, different events off of this screen. While at the venue, they can now have lectures or lecturers come in via the web portal without leaving the facility and without leaving their space where they are. So it provides a platform for them to be very interactive, high definition, and without any drops, loops, or issues as it is. Additional to that, we just completed the upgrade of our entire house lighting system and stage lighting system. So we have a full cadre in our main auditorium of moving heads, washes, LED lighting, house lighting control, new audio consoles for our front of house mix, stage mix, and we have just got approval to enter into purchasing new stage gear, microphones, etc. So there is a whole build out on the auditorium side while we are still pushing on our conference and small meeting sides, where we are also going to be doing a full conferencing audio system that allows for integrated miking and individual conversations and multi-language translations as well. So that's on the conferencing end as well as on the auditorium end. Added to that, our AV system, we just also launched our 20 feet by 20 feet LED 8K screen. Magnificent. Absolutely clean and crisp. I love it so much. But it is one of our new trademarks and we're really loving it. So it's really one to really see. So we see that as one of our benefits in the auditorium in terms of cutting edge technology as it is. It's the only screen of its kind on the island, and it gives us that 20 feet by 20 feet 8K. So you can imagine how crisp and clean it is. Added to that, we are moving to zoned Wi-Fi. So each room has its own managed Wi-Fi and bandwidth controllability that allows you to really manage how users interact on the Wi-Fi and gives what is really required, so that there isn't any blockage, any bottlenecking of the internet as it is when it's required. So it gives us full control of our Wi-Fi in the event that we have a main conference that we like. For example, we just hosted the Youth Commonwealth. We had control Wi-Fi where we were able to now give this room more bandwidth than the other, being able to control right down to device how they would be able to interact, giving full control of the IT system. Thank you.
That sounds really impressive, Ken. I need to take a trip to Tobago and see your venue. I've only been there once and never for an event. So yeah, I might need to take 2 trips, one to actually tour and one to come to an event.
And permit me to say though, this is one of the reasons why I love this webinar so much. It allows us to do that interaction and that information sharing amongst colleagues within this space.
Thank you. And who's next?
Hi, Melissa. Hi, everyone. I'm happy to share. I think, it's really nice to hear what our other venues have and what it really does for us in the industry in terms of any artists wanting to do work in the kind of capacity that all these spaces could offer. I think one of the things in Naparima Bowl in terms of technology, we have many years we started moving towards the LED aspects and that sort of more solar, what I would say, energy conserving um, fixtures in this space, particularly lighting. And we would know in theaters, lighting is one of the most energy drawing type of technology you could use in any space. So your electricity, all that has to be really at optimum level to support the equipment, because one, as the job changes, also the failure, the kind of expense when it comes to failure of these equipment could be challenging. I think with the bowl, one of the things that we do, the bowl is a very unique space, and we call it a sort of urban lab. So meaning that a lot of new work, we like to celebrate new work happening in this space. Multimedia and video mapping is something that we've been looking at because of how where we're located, one, and then because we have an impressive flight tower. And for those who are listening and our guests, they would have an idea of what that is. Many of our events that happen outdoors, particularly in the amphitheater, we try to utilize video mapping as much as possible. So projections on the building, so what is shown on stage, you could project that on the building. If you have graphics that you want to create another dimension to your event, that is also projected on the building. In the amphitheater space, we have tried projections on the actual amphitheater seating space itself, because we find that in the venue, in our facility, it's almost like a canvas for digital work. So whilst our facility does a lot of music and theater and dance, we have really been pushing ourselves into new work and multimedia work, installation work, what you might call art and digital installation work, and leveraging the uniqueness of the space. The asymmetrical nature of how it's designed. Where we're located, we're not on the main road, we're a little bit off the main road, so we're a bit recessed into the city. And that gives us opportunities to really try some unique things, so that when you enter into the Naparima Bowl, into Paradise Pasture, you get this really unique experience. So yes, technology in the area of multimedia is one of the biggest things. I will talk a little bit later on about our Naparima Bowl Studios, which is an initiative that we started a few years ago, and we've had some projects that came out of that. I see one of the questions from the comments speaks about film and how film-friendly this space is. And Naparima Bowl is very much a film-friendly space. Some of the early years of Naparima Bowl, because like our friend from our Queen's Hall sister, we're also one of the older spaces, having been opened in 1962. Naparima Bowl did a lot of the early film staging or film productions. So you might have had a playwright or a director who wanted to get their stuff filmed, and they would do it at Naparima Bowl. So we're sort of going through sort of a renaissance, going back to where the stage, the performing arts stage, becomes almost like a sound stage, becomes a black box space where smaller, more avant-garde and unique pieces of art and theater can happen.
That sounds impressive. And the more you'll talk, is the more I feel a little bit like I'm going to be the tourist touring some of these venues. Like, I'm very, very, very familiar with Napa and Queen's Hall. But I will be in Naparima Bowl on Friday for Mamma Mia. Folks, go watch Mamma Mia. That will be happening. It's starting when? Today. This is not a paid advertisement. Nobody asked me to say this. I'm just saying I'll be at Mamma Mia. All right. Paige?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much once again. So I was just so heartened to hear my colleagues all indicating that we're moving toward global best practice when it comes to our websites and the interactive seat selection processes and the online ticketing, as well as ensuring that our lighting and sound infrastructure, which is really our bread and butter, is up to par. So I think that, of course, the National Academy for the Performing Arts is always in the business of making sure that we are up to par and up to standard, because we know that global actors who want to use our space require certain levels of technological modernity in order to be able to come and just plug themselves in without too much fuss and bother. So we're minded to ensure that we are at the top of our game with regards to those things. I think a further deeper point about the technological advancements is that the National Academy of the Performing Arts is a unique building because of its structure. And so what we are minded to look at now is how do we use our space to really plug in to that iconic status model that we have. And for us, that means we want to serve our community. One of the ways that we can do that, and it shows sustainability of this building, because as you know, these buildings are tremendous and the cost of running them is significant, and we are largely subsidized by the state. How do we treat with that? One of the things we would like to do is to turn our building into a canvas for advertising by using laser lights and LEDs and projections so that we can have messages, ads, videos, and things like that play on our domes. Because if you know Napa, it's made of domes. You would have seen it earlier on. That's something that we are certainly looking at because we are clear that we have to become sustainable. And the performing arts is such a critical aspect of our national dialogue and our need to express ourselves that we have to find ways to make sure we can keep it going. So we want to use technology to help us with our monetization strategy. We want to make sure that people can find innovative opportunities to showcase themselves, their wares, and their products on our building and not just inside of our building.
Exactly that. Yeah. I'm happy to hear about a lot of the developments that are happening. Sean.
Melissa,
Yeah.
remember I went first.
Oh, you went for oh.
That's
Okay,
one
so
of those
everybody went already. I'm sorry, my apologies. So, I mean, this is not a question for everybody, and I'll kind of preface it with a story. So, the other day, one of our stakeholders got the opportunity to showcase at this really, really huge festival. And a part of the criteria for showcasing by the venue and by the event producer had a lot to do with environmental responsibility. So much so that in the application, they have to state how they are environmentally responsible themselves. They don't allow persons to take on any brands in terms of sponsors that are not environmentally responsible. Like they went the whole 9 yards of vetting all of their performers before they even invite them on the stage where that is concerned. So everybody doesn't have to answer this question, but one or two persons. In terms of the your venue, do you prioritize sustainability and environmental responsibility, or do you have any attempts to go green, whether now or in the future?
So Melissa, I'll jump in and say that, it's really such a challenge. And I think that everybody here will appreciate the levels of challenge that we have when it comes to considering things like carbon neutrality, going green, and so on. And certainly for us here at Napa, it is a question of which of the areas of operation do you choose to change, because there is a significant investment involved in going green and getting yourself to be in a place where you are carbon neutral, especially when you have lights and stage and all these things that can air condition, because it's hot. In Trinidad, everybody who's not here, it's really hot. So we have those critical environmental things. So what we are looking at here is our wastewater management system. We have a large series of fountains all the way around the building, as well as inside of Napa. So we are going to be looking at wastewater management in an effort to irrigate our gardens. Because one of the things that we're also doing is we are looking to beautify the garden space in Napa, because we recognize that that is a tremendous attraction for people just driving past. Again, we want to serve our community. How do we do that? We create a beautiful, peaceful joyful space is in the middle of a very vibrant and bustling city, which is Port of Spain. And so, in order for us to be able to do that, we are going to have to really seriously look at how we irrigate our gardens, and we are doing that via our new wastewater management systems. So that's our contribution to going and to preserving the environment.
I mean, that sounds good because, yeah, everybody has to start somewhere. And we know that environmental sustainability is not necessarily, I'm saying this very loosely, a priority for our country. But, you know, as global warming as it is right now, and all the things that are happening, especially you talk about the heat, we can visibly and physically say that we know. Um, Things are taking place. So it is our responsibility to find even just the tiniest way to make sure that we can move towards environmental sustainability in some way or form. So good to hear that, you know, you've started the ball rolling on that. Anybody else wanted to chip in on this question? If not, it's okay. I can go on to the next.
Marlon, you want to go? Yes, okay. So I'll just go quickly. I'll just go quickly and say that, well, as I would have mentioned, we have our garden theatre. So that is one way in which we are definitely going green. It would have been started in the 2021, as I said, in the heart of the pandemic, when, of course, you know, we were looking for more outdoor spaces to have events and so. So that is one. That was very purposeful on our part in terms of having an outdoor theater, because of course in the auditorium you can't consume, you know, food and beverage and so it means that you're able to enjoy the environment and still be able to enjoy something that's happening on stage as well. So that's one way in which we are going green, and we are planning, as we said, to refurbish that facility, which will include an actual green wall. So that's one aspect. We also have been transitioning some of our systems to become both maintenance-wise and technology-wise to be more energy saving. So that's also a conscious decision, and conscious actions are being put in place to make that happen. We will also be installing, let me see if I have the exact words, 3 electrical vehicle charging ports in our front car park. That should happen within the next 4 to 6 weeks. And we have started installing solar lights on our premises as well, perimeter lights. So we have taken we have made a conscious effort to definitely go green and have more of a green theater. But as Paige would have said, you do come with some infrastructure that is already in place, so that you have to transition it out slowly and incrementally.
Okay, thank you for those updates on your environmentally friendly initiatives. Marlon, you wanted to share something?
Yeah, well, just briefly on it. As Paige mentioned, we all know Trinidad is hot like crazy. But one of the things with Naparima Bowl, out of the 3 spaces that we have, 2 of them are outdoor, and the larger of the 2 theaters is an outdoor space. That's the amphitheater. One of the things we've been looking at is really bringing the amphitheater to the point where it's fully powered by renewable energy, by developing a solar panel system in the amphitheater. It's fully exposed to that 12 o'clock hot sun in Trinidad. So, and the dry season is, as I tell people, we have a dry season weather theater, and then we have the rainy season weather theater. So, on the dry season, January to April or so, that's outdoor activity at the Naparima Bowl. If we could leverage all the outdoor activities, but in that period is where we really building that renewable energy. And so we know the expense of maintaining the facilities, but also it's a huge cost to implement solar systems. You only see the returns of that years down the road. But I mean, it's a good start for us to, at least with perimeter lighting, as Colin mentioned, and wherever you can do something that's solar or renewable energy, it's always great, but you really only see the returns of that many years down the road after you put the system in place. But that is that we're moving towards as well.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you very much, Marlon.
Sure.
So,
Melissa, is it can you just touch on the same sustainability point for brief. As a shopper, we are also partnering with the THA and the CUT to also have, for the very first time in Tobago, electrical charging, car charging ports as well. So we are actually going to be experimenting within the coming months to have 3 electrical car ports at the facility, along with we are trying to move as paperless as we can into the system of removing paper from the booking system and try to move everything to online and self-checking as it is as much as possible. So there is going to be paper within the system, but I thought it best to really touch on that because as all of our colleagues have communicated, it is part of our conversation in the grand scheme of things to be able to encourage sustainability and going green into all of our processes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really happy to hear about the paperless, because we know, having all work for government bodies, how government loves paper. So I'm really happy to hear that one of you are moving, is moving towards that paperless as much as possible. So
Melissa, if I can make the point though that as much as we know the benefits of going green, it is a transition for both our patrons and producers as well. Because as Sean would have mentioned, the paperless tickets, we still have, my GM likes to talk about it, there are people who still want to come with a ticket. So that even though, because of the pandemic, thankfully, we we already had the plan to have e-commerce, ticketing system and so, but we still had to have the facility of persons coming to buy a ticket because that's what they feel more comfortable with. And then in terms of our booking application system as well, persons are accustomed bringing us a letter or sending us a letter and having to do an online application. Some people are still a little bit. So so it's a process. It's a process both for us as well as our end users. So yeah, we'll just continue and see how best we can hold each other's hands and along this green path, as it were.
absolutely, and that is something that we have to gently push them in that direction, right? And that is not only just for the sustainability factor, but I imagine that that would transcend across anything or your operations or new things that you'd want to roll out, that they might be sensitive to uptaking at any point in time. So yeah, that is a good point. Um, so rolling right along. Again, this question, doesn't have to be answered by everybody. So a lot of large venues internationally or prominent venues, not necessarily large, commission shows from around the world to be produced at their venue. So essentially, they are their own event producer, right? And that forms part of their operations and their revenue streams, etc. So is this something that any of the venues here represented will be exploring in the near future or distant? Yeah.
Well, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Everybody was about to jump in.
No,
Everybody's
it's certainly it's certainly something that the Southern Academy is interested in. We have partnered in the past with other performing centers and collaborated with them to execute a production. And in terms of going forward, it's one of the areas that we are certainly open to. So it's still in the formative stages, but it's certainly something that we are open to and would love to explore.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. The Naparima Bowl, I started the bowl in 2020, and the bowl was just kind of ready for it. Even if it was in the pandemic, we were just ready to do that. The bowl currently has 3 signature events that are bowl produced, that is produced by the staff of the bowl. The first of them was a Joyeux Noël Christmas market, now Joyeux Noël Christmas market and Parang Festival. That's the first initiative that we have. This year we started our Bowl Face brunch, a Bowl Face Carnival brunch, and that was pretty successful. Everyone is looking forward to 2025. I cannot remember the date, but it's the Carnival Sunday is the is the is the event. So people be ready for a fantastic brunch. And this year we did the second year, the second edition of our Naparima Bowl Jazz Festival. So these three initiatives are bowl-centered initiatives. We are very much open to, and I think this is where we see great opportunity for more partnerships locally, not only from sponsors, but also collaborators, other artists collaborating with us, and international partners. So one of the things the bowl has been exploring is a sort of twinning initiative with international spaces. So the bowl, like how you have twinning of cities, the bowl wants to twin with other theaters, right? So we twin at a theater in the UK or in Germany. We have visitors here, guests who are from Australia and so on. We twin with another space with similar capacity, so that there's a nice sharing of not just only the creative endeavor, but also capacity building. One of the biggest things for us is building capacity amongst our technical staff. And we started doing some of that when we did some partnerships with Film Co. They were doing some training in film production and editing. So in the pandemic, it was all virtual. We had our technical crew sitting on those sessions. We paid for them and they were all part of the session. They got a certificate after. And their skill set for editing, even just a short clip, was increased. And that is why we could do the Naparima Bowl Studios work. And so it quickly brings me to the point of Naparima Bowl Studios, where we see the studios as the nexus for anything that is produced by the bowl. So whether it's a bowl-centric production, we will produce in-house. We will give it the legs so that it goes internationally through pay-per-view and live streaming. And we can also produce someone's show that is in the space. And that is where we see the partnership as well. So for example, we have some clients who are long-standing clients, Ibis TT performers, Fun Claire Steel Orchestra, Vaughan Bigford, the Southerners Chorale. All these organizations have been long-standing clients of the board, but we see them as partners. And with that, the concept now, we just don't want to just have your show on stage for a live audience. We will do a multi-camera production of your show that could be streamed and broadcasted internationally. Revenue sharing is the big part of that. So all the copyright, intellectual property elements will be inside there, of course, and the facility makes money from it. And of course, the owner of the work itself, the producer, they make money from it. So it's infinite for what we can do at the bowl, and I'm sure many of the other spaces as well. But the bowl is currently right on track with that, with the initiatives that we currently do. We have partnered with organizations locally in terms of actually partnering with the show. We don't charge a rental, they do the show here, and then there's a profit sharing. So we do those things incrementally. You might make a lot of money in the first year, obviously, but it's good models and templates to build. So our local guests who are on this webinar and the international guests know that these venues are already in that frame of mind to get your work out there and get it seen by large audiences.
Nice. Okay.
Yes, and I wanna definitely add and endorse what Marlon is saying, because as you would have said, not just because of the pandemic, but certainly pandemic would have led to a lot of paradigm shifts and transformations. So like the other venues, we also see ourselves not just as a passive venue where we're just taking bookings, but we have had our own shows. We started in 2021 having Tres Noches de Parang, where we partnered with the Parang Association, and then we went on to have our first Together Gala Fed in 2022 and Together AI Conference in 2023. And of course, we are planning something for 2024. And yes, we have been approached by some international organizations as well. So we do have, as we said, because we're a statutory body, we do have the flexibility to entertain some of those proposals. And so definitely, yes, we are open. And like Marlon said, even in terms of partnering with some of our producers, once it is a solid proposal that comes to us, and it's synergies, because obviously we have the resources and the technical capability through our staff, and they have the productions and so many models in place for having a production being executed. So it's a question of synergies and having mutual goals and definitely learning. As Marlon may have said, sometimes you don't always make money from it, but you learn a lot. You're able to establish a blueprint And it augurs well for the future, definitely, in terms of transforming the venue to not just a venue. We are not just a passive host of venues, of events, but also producers in our own right.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to segue a little bit now into the event videos. So, audience, what we have lined up right now, one, will give you time to type your questions in the chat. And two, we're going to play some very short clips of events that were produced at the different venues, just to give you an idea of what that looks like, right? Or could look like. So yeah, we're going to head right into that, and then we're coming right back with all of your questions. The questions that are in chats, just post them there and they will be fielded to us. Okay? All right. Over to you, Francis.
No.
Big friend!
Finally,
What do you mean by
the
big friend?
bloodline understands.
You really sell a blind, sick ass, half dead donkey?
His ram didn't buy it. He wanted a cat to sell coconut in Port of Spain.
Yes, but listen, he come and he see the donkey, and I tell him, I say, listen.
All right, I was almost getting into that reproduction there just now. Uh, so yes, this is our Q&A time, folks. So let me just head over to the comment section here and see what's happening. All right, so first question is from Leslie-Ann Wills. What kind of incentives and packages are available for filmmakers wanting to use the facilities as sound stages and film studio locations? Are they film friendly? So any stop, anybody could just jump in and.
Sure, I could. Okay, sorry, go ahead, Could.
Yeah.
I know film is big on the agenda, so.
So let me permit me to jump off with this one. One of the major things that we are looking to do is to modulate the space to become that sound stage and that film studio. Because we have the roof height and the space, we are definitely poised to be very equipped to be that sound stage and to create that environment for film. We just advanced our lighting, which is also in collaboration to build out that film space to do just that. Our roof height is just about 65 feet high, and the width of the flooring is 120 feet wide by 200 feet deep. So it gives you a lot to work with from a props and backdrops, etc. We are just invested in a green screen cyclorama that allows for that modulation as well. So in terms of package, we are looking for someone to really test on our ability to do just that. So we are very much open to collaboration to test as best as what we can really offer as a real production house.
Nice. Okay. Anybody else wants to jump in?
We have been, we get requests as well, not necessarily for a full film. Well, partly because, of course, in terms of availability, by the time someone approaches us, we may not have the space. But we do have the capability, and we have been doing some small video recordings and even advertisements. We have had what do you call it? We have partnered with a couple of the Guardian Media and they have done some of their productions, some of their short productions as well with an audience and everything at Queen Soul. So I mean, the package is there, of course, in terms of the venue is suited for it. I mean, there's parking. I mean, all those things go into the attractiveness. I mean, we are close to hotels and that kind of things. So all those go into the attractiveness and ability of the venue to be able to facilitate those kind of requests. So I would say, yes, definitely Queen Soul is ready and open for such and able to execute such productions.
Okay. Anybody else?
I will just chime in quickly on it. I think some of what I mentioned before indicates how very much the bowl is set for that. I think what is pretty critical or important is that, more engagement with this sector. I believe all these spaces can offer something in that particular subject of film. But for the bowl, I think what has been successful for us has been using videos. We've had persons do audition tapes at the facility. There was a musician who wrote a song, and they wanted to create a music video for that said song, and they used the stage. The piano was there, and it's able to create these very intimate sort of type of videos or films. And I think if with the uniqueness of the space as a sort of black box and a kind of facility in the auditorium in particular, we would love to invite more of that type of work. People who are trying to even experiment with their film, experiment with their ideas in this space, and that it could launch in another space or another facility later on. And I think the bowl, sorry, based on Leslie's question, are we film friendly? I think we're very much film friendly, especially from the embryonic stage. When you're working those ideas out, you want to get that first draft of at least a scene. If you have to shop that scene around for more ideas or for funding and that sort of thing. So I know the bowl has positioned itself, as I mentioned before, as a sort of urban lab, with new ideas, new work, and really come and test it out at the facility. The bowl was that type of space when it was created in the 60s, the 70s, it was the heyday of the bowl, and in the 80s when the auditorium burned down, and all we had were multi-purpose rooms. Theater and dance thrived. A lot of new work thrived in the facility. So as we are now with a full functioning facility, we're even more in that position to say, hey, come to us, try your stuff out. We will work with you because we see it as a partnership. Our capacity increases, and of course, you're able to create your work.
So I'd like to jump in here now, if I can, and say that the National Academy for the Performing Arts is a large space. It has a variety of spectrum. The different types of spaces everywhere. We have rooms, we have the stage, we have the foyer, and so on. But what we also have is we have the performing entities that live under the roof of NAPA. And what that means for us is that we are able to not just provide you with a space to film, we are also able to provide you with musicians that can write and perform the scores for your films. We have actors who live here because in addition to the space, we also house the National Theatre Arts Company, the National Steel Symphony Orchestra, and the National Philharmonic Orchestra, in addition to which we share our campus with the university. And there's a tremendous amount of talent that is coming out of the university that also lives here. So for example, on any given day, you'll walk outside and there will be a Lion King audition happening and there will be 3 people outside singing loudly on the veranda, and you will think you are in vain. It really genuinely is like that here. There is a university that is particularly for the performing arts. So in addition to the space, we also have the human resources that can support anyone who wants to come and film. We have film students, we have production students, we have really, really high quality lighting and sound technicians. We have some of the best actors in the Caribbean that live under this roof. So we also have a special, kind of feeling towards people who want to come and film, who want to come and recruit for productions and things like that here at the National Academy for the Performing Arts. So I think what I wanted to say earlier is there's a broad spectrum of things that we can offer to anybody who wants to come and film, or to recruit, or to start, even to get ideas and thoughts. It's all resident under this roof.
Yes, and I can definitely attest to the Lion King part. So I'm going to pick the next.
That was such a mind blower to me. I was walking out of work one afternoon and I was hearing, everywhere, and I was like, what is going on? Then all of a sudden this audition for Lion King, and they were walking
people.
Really, really such a fantastic environment, and these students make it vibrant and energetic, and you feel like if the performing arts really has a home here at Napa. And I'm really, really lucky to be, it's not blessed, it's luck. It's just dumb luck to be here every single day,
So I'm going to post another question here from Kino. If these local spaces are trying to invite international artists, producers, and designers to use their venues when developing strategic plans, do they also conduct research on international production best practices?
So, I'd like to jump in right off the bat and say that we are in the process right now of doing a new strategic plan. And certainly that is one of the things that we are contemplating as we craft the strategic plan. what is our real true market space? Is our true market space just Trinidad alone? Is it just Tobago? Is it Grenada? Is it Brazil? Is it Venezuela? What is our market space? In order to be able to understand that, we have to know what those artists and those performers require in terms of technology, in terms of lighting, sound, stage, spaces, hotel, airlift. These are critical components of a stakeholder analysis that we all have to do. And certainly NAPA is tasked with doing that, because when you start talking about a premier space and one of the best spaces in the hemisphere, you must indeed look at what your competitors are doing, because we are, the thing about it is now we're all competing for global dollars. It's not like before where it's just here. We are all competing for international dollars. They are scarce. Tourism is really about experiential tourism. That's the trend, that's what's growing, and Trinidad and Tobago has it in spades. So we have to be prepared to receive, the Simply Reds and the Sades and the Stings of this world, but we must know what they need, because they can't come here and not be able to, plug themselves in easily. And I said it earlier, they have to be able to just come and plug themselves in. And that's how you make the money. That's how you get people coming in. I saw Singapore the other day doing a massive investment in Taylor Swift. And their purpose, very, very strategically, was to make sure that Singapore now becomes known as a concert venue. So they basically block two. If you want to see her in Asia, you have to come to Singapore. They made sure the airlift was ready. They made sure the hotels were ready. They made sure the restaurants were ready. And now they are earning $40-50 billion just from concerts because of that one investment that they made in Taylor Swift. I think that's a signal for all of us, because we know how challenging it is to get those resources unlocked so that we can do this.
Yeah. So I am going to go over to the next question, because we have quite a few and I want to get you guys home. So what about initiatives for youth programs being offered, like music business principles?
All right, so I can jump in a bit, because it's certainly something in terms of, as we said, we started in June 1959, and one of the things, of course, we would recognize is that our patronage is more of a mature audience, and we want to be able to have youth initiatives to attract youth to attend programs at Queen Soul as well. So we are looking into certain different types of apprenticeship type programs, internships, having persons, world of work programs, and so definitely it's something that is on the cards, because definitely you can't rely on what may have happened in the past. You need to be able to prepare for the future, and definitely having youth initiatives is one of the ways to make sure you stay current and relevant, and you are preparing for not just the audience that you have, but the audience that you want to attract as well. So it's something that we are definitely looking into.
In addition to which, at SAPA, and certainly at maybe at the other spaces as well, schools are given a preferential rate, if you will, to come and participate at these venues. In addition to which, as Colleen mentioned, we do have, for the summer programs, intention to bring on some of the persons, whether it be at UTT, at universities, who are in the performing arts, so that they can come and intern for the summer period as well. And so when you heard us talk about some of the virtual tours, we get a lot of requests from schools, from persons who are interested in the arts. And so to make it more appealing to them, that was one of the reasons why we wanted to have that kind of virtual tour, where the arts could be something that appeals to them. And it brings to life the whole question of what not only the space, but what the industry can mean and do for them.
Agreed. For me to quickly add also, one of the things that we are also trying to develop at the Shore Park complex is to develop a cadre of people interested in the technical side of things as well. Lighting technicians, song engineers, stage managers, and we are really diving deep into building capacity on the island so that there is a taste, a hunger for that back end side of things to support the performances on the stage. It is something that we really think lends to the development of the industry and helps strengthen our product as we offer it to all our clients.
Mhm. Okay. And now we are moving on to the next question. There are so many, so I'm trying to read through a few of them and pick and choose. So one person asks, I'm not going to put it on the screen because that one is very long. So the summary of it is in terms of the technicians and the designers, is there any impetus from the venues to help train up a next generation in terms of light and sound and wardrobe designers, stage designers, etc.?
I'll jump in quickly and say that's also on the cards for us this year as well, because of course we recognize there's a dearth of trained technicians, as it will, and even as Sean would have been referring to, it would not necessarily. I mean, of course, there is the theatre arts program in schools, but it's not necessarily the first thing that you think of in terms of career choices. So you want to be able to have those expose them to those options, and it's definitely something that we can all benefit from if we invest in these types of programs. So definitely it's on the cards for us as well, because it's going to benefit both parties.
Agreed. So yeah, it as I was saying in before, it is really a need to really ensure that there's continuity in the industry. There are really great ears. When I say ears, I mean song engineers that can then translate and pass on their skills. So we are going deep into really working with a lot of the industry leaders to help develop the next technicians and engineers and lighting designers and even stage managers. And it's a major part of our build out 2024 into 2025, so that there is continuous development, understanding of the new technology, and growth in the industry altogether.
Yes, Melissa, just to add to that, so one way the board has done that, in addition to what my colleagues mentioned about the school tours, that has been that's a a major feature of all the facilities, schools wanting to tour the facility. Why you find that? Because a lot of the theatre arts teachers would have passed through the facility in some way as performers themselves, and they really want to come back to this space. The Naparima Bowl, when we did our upgrade works to our courtyard, and we built a deck, a small stage and a deck area in the courtyard. Some students from the University of the West Indies, some from the Department of Creative and Festival Arts, reached out to us. They were recent graduates from the music program, and we are currently where they did 2 shows, 2 concerts, and they're about to do their 3rd one at the end of this month on a Wednesday. What they came up with was what they call the deck sessions. So it's really these sort of intimate unplugged concerts that happen on the Naparima Bowl deck. And with that, there's a sort of capacity building for them because they're very new in the industry. The sound engineer that they have is a UTT student at present. The stage manager, graduate of UE, the musicians are all graduates from the department. And so what we try to find that developers a sort of twinning of skills. So our staff, they work closely with them, and there's an exchange of ideas in a very organic way. There's no pressure for financial turnaround, but they manage the business of it. So they have tickets and they sell the tickets, and then they report back and say, okay, these are the amount of people that we got for the show, this is how much was sold. And so that there's a sort of really organic learning process and skills development. And this we see that very much as the pre stage before you even get into the industry. Sorry, because what a lot of them say is that they leave the university, and I'm sure we all have heard this. They leave the university and then they go out there and they can't, what to do, right? And especially for musicians, they may get work in the bands performing around the carnival season. Some of them will perform in parang bands and other things like that, or in the studio. But outside of that, what are the skills that they're learning to really survive and innovate in the industry? Because we may have the ideas based on our generation, but we want them to have the real life experience in the industry, in the space, so that they come up with ideas that can take the industry forward. So the deck sessions that they call it, did two things. It helped skills development for them, but it also helped us test the venue, how people interacted with the space. They didn't like the upgrades, They made suggestions in terms of how we could manage it better, or how we could deal with the patrons and the flow of business in the space. So it's a twofold thing. When you have developmental things happening in your facility, it's also good to invite the people in the sector to come and enjoy and participate in the facility, and they tell you how it works for them. So that is one thing that we've tried there as well.
So on the heels of your comment, there is actually a comment related to what you're talking about here, but more on the training side. So short answer from everybody, yes or no. Or even a hands up, do you all take on OJT workers? All right. Yes. So everybody except, okay, everybody. All right. And the pivot question to that is, do any of you work with the universities to facilitate that on-the-job training while they're in their programs? Yeah?
Starting.
All right. So Napa and Queenswell and Naparima Bowl is starting.
We
So yeah.
have a couple of students right now that we are the ones who sign off on their assignments at the end of the thing, and we help them, and they come up because it's literally right here. So we have 1 or 2 students that do come across, and we help them on a regular basis.
That is very good to know, because I'm very happy to hear that, because during my tenure of doing my musical arts degree did not have any of that. So we basically had to go and hunt down organizations and push ourselves to volunteer in order to get that experience. So that is good. And do you all, thank you very much for everything today. I know we have gone way over time. So does anyone have any last comments that they would like to give? If not,
I would like to say thank you so much to MusicTT on behalf of all of us for arranging this. I certainly feel like I have learned a lot about the other spaces in Trinidad, and I'm so glad to really be convinced that we are serious about the performing arts and we are serious about the business of art. I'm really, really happy about that. And to ask everybody who's listening and looking, consider Trinidad and Tobago as a place where you can come and have your shows. We are for business. We are ready for you. Thank you all so very much for your time, and thanks to MusicTT.
Great. So thank you very much to our esteemed panelists for being here with us today. Thank you to you, the audience, for staying. I'm looking at the audience numbers, and it did not fluctuate throughout the entire thing. Everybody just stayed there. So thank you very much for that. Please feel free, folks, to share the link. Murphy and old, we can't do anything about that. But yes, please share the link. Those who registered before the event to attend, we actually have a resources page that we will be sending to you, which will have a whole bunch of different goodies, as well as these lovely people, contact persons. It may not be them directly, but the contact persons for each of the venues that you can reach out to and have discussions and explore for your productions, right? And as Colleen said, Queensall is always booked, so earlier, don't even try to get in this year. Okay? All right, so thank you so much, everybody, for being here. It has been a pleasure. I wish everyone a good night, good morning, good afternoon, and get home safely. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.